Welcome to Choose Greater Health with Paige Spears. This is part of the World of Ability Podcast Network, and I am so happy to be able to introduce to you an absolutely amazing podcast host. And I'm going to go ahead and bring her on in here. Paige, welcome. This is Choose Greater Health, and so happy to see you today.
Yeah, thank you, Sue. And my guest today is Mark, and he is a concussion survivor, and he runs the Seminole Spirit Support Group based in Atlanta. And Mark, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and the group and how everything got started?
Yeah, Paige, thank you so much for having me today. I had a traumatic brain injury on May 1st, 1999. It was 26 years ago on this past week. So I took a fall off my roof and sustained a head injury, and I was in a coma for 3 weeks, came out of it. But what I did is went through recovery. The speech therapist that was my outpatient speech therapist became um, a partner with me in setting this support group up. It's a Toastmasters group for people with brain injuries, and we did this, and we did it for about a year and a half until Kathy died. She got melanoma, and we lost her. But that still really got me going to look for speech therapists to join our group to help. So we give speeches in the first hour, and we have a 2 hour meeting that's now global on a Zoom platform, and it's really special. And I've met a lot of people that have come into the group that have had strokes, ischemic, hemorrhagic. We've had a lot of people that have had traumatic brain injury. We've had a lot of people that have had a loss of oxygen and surgery. You can't even. It's amazing the amount of different type of brain injuries that occur, and speech is affected by it. Memory, articulation of thought, those kinds of things. So we're really out to help people recover. I'm into research and making sure that our members get the best care they can. And this doesn't cost anybody a thing. Is all they need is a laptop, an iPhone, an Android, whatever, and they can come in and they know that they're not alone, that there are other people out there that have these injuries too.
That sounds great. And similarly, I'm a member of 3 brain injury support groups: Seminole Spirit, my local group based in Columbia, Missouri, and also the Brain Exchange, and one that's known as the Bus Committee. And I think they got that name from jokingly throwing people under the bus who weren't there. And the other group is run by a stroke survivor. And then my local support group is co-facilitated by concussion survivors. And I've had oxygen deprivation brain injury. So we've got a good mix of everyone involved. And can you tell us about some of the work you've been doing with clients at Shepherd Center? And is that affiliated with the VA?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Just to give you an idea, I've been on the board at Shepherd Center. Shepherd Center is a catastrophic care rehabilitation hospital in Atlanta, Georgia. And Shepherd Center started as a result of James Shepherd in 1974 having a body surfing accident where he broke his neck, C1, C2, and his mom and dad had him life flighted out to Craig Hospital in Inglewood, Colorado. And Craig has been a catastrophic care rehabilitation hospital since 1916. And so Jim Shepherd went in on a gurney and he came out walking. He was a motor incomplete spinal cord injury survivor. So when he got back to Atlanta, Alana Shepard, who's 94 today, she's still the CEO of she still was the founder of the organization, the hospital. She and her husband Harold, they got together and they had Shepherd Center built, and that was 74. So we have a lot of veterans that come. I've been very active involved with the SHARE program. So these are military veterans that have had TBIs in Iraq and Afghanistan and in civilian life after they've gotten out of the military, and they've been able to go into the SHARE uh, organization. SHARE is part of Shepherd, but it's pretty cool. So I'm a recruiter, so I end up recruiting a lot of people in our group, like Jeff Richmond, Page. You know Jeff, he's been in our group for 3 years, 2 years, and he lives in Chattanooga, Tennessee, so he came from the SHARE program. So Shepherd Center is pretty special to me. So is Craig Hospital out in Denver. So I try to stay affiliated with all these hospitals, because after therapy is over, where do these people go? I mean, some go back to home, go back to work, or some don't. Some need a place like the Seminole Spirit to come to. So thanks for asking that question. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and that also mirrors the gaps in care that I've noticed in my own recovery journey, where I was done with even standard outpatient therapy and I still needed more. So it took some research, and I was able to get a referral from outpatient therapy to options like uh, myofascial release and neurofeedback, and also therapeutic horseback riding. And from there, on my own, I found functional neurology and chiropractic care, and those were good for me also. And it would be really, really be good if, in addition to the standard outpatient therapy, there could be referrals to these additional options.
So let me ask you a question, Paige, about this, because we talked about it a little bit, even in some text, but then we talked about it. Hypnotherapy. When you get on, do you actually get on the gait of the horse and you ride?
Yeah, yeah, it's therapeutic horseback riding, and
Yep.
the movement of the horse assists in physical coordination.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. So Sue, just to give you kind of some insight into this, back in 2005, Kathy Payton, who started Seminole Spirit with me, she went to Florida State. And she told me, "Hey, Mark, check out hypnotherapy." And I said, "What's that, Kat?" And she said, "Well, it's a horse therapy. So when you get on the horse, brain injury survivor gets on the horse, the gait of the horse, the movement of the horse provides unbelievable physiological benefit to the brain." And from the standpoint of everything from balance to locomotion, everything. And so I thought that was fascinating. So I went and met a woman, Paige, who had a TBI, severe one. She was a Delta Airlines flight attendant, and she started an organization at her home. She had this little log cabin house she lived in. And yeah, so she had the horses there, and she had survivors. She had a lot of kids with developmental disabilities, autism, or on the spectrum, and they get on the horse, and it's like, whoa, it is so therapeutic. And I am myself, I've been on a horse before, but I'm 66 now, and I honestly I could get on the horse, but man, I'd be a little nervous, because I would want to know um at least someone's nearby, because I don't want to fall off the darn horse. And but yeah, it's pretty cool. So Paige, let me go back to you on that. How often are you doing that? Horse
I've
stuff?
been riding every week. The
Really?
spring session lasted from March through this last Wednesday, and we had a little show, and we all did quite well.
That is awesome. Now, do you go on a different horse each time, or do you get a chance to get to know your horse?
I get to know my horse, and her name
Really?
is Zoe. Yeah, she's a mostly black mare with white patches, and she used to do, I think, some Western trail competition kind of work. And well, she likes me being an advanced rider who knows what I'm doing. And in this last class, she wanted to canter, I could tell. And there was another class last year when she did canter a few strides.
Wow. Now let me ask you this, Paige. Does your husband, Scott, right? What's
Sean, well,
no,
I've
Sean,
gotten
Sean.
him on a
Does-
trail ride once,
yeah,
and
he's
that was enough
been
for
on the
him.
horse once, huh?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome. That's good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, very good. Very good. Now there was another person I thought I saw on here too. Paige, what's his name? Kurt?
Yeah, Kurt is Sue's husband, and he
Oh, okay.
runs the whole network.
Okay. Hey, Kurt. Very nice. So anything, any other questions or
You were, I was in a different room. Were you trying to talk to me?
yeah, yeah, Kurt, I wanted you to tell me a little bit about yourself and what do you do?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, like Paige said, I started this podcast network. That was about 5 years ago, and obviously my wife Sue is here to help support with everything that's going on. And we've gotten quite involved in disability advocacy,
Yeah.
and so I call myself a disability ally.
Hmm.
And we've attached ourselves to the Disability Channel, and these this adventure has also taken us into the veteran world.
Yeah.
So we're with a lot of groups working together on a telethon for Saturday, June 7th. We're going to do an 8-hour telethon to benefit all veterans.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
So I'm taking notes right now. So Saturday, June 6th, huh?
7th,
Oh,
Saturday,
7th.
7th. Yeah.
Okay, Saturday. Okay. So let me just say this to you, buddy. I in our Seminole Spirit group, I do have some veterans in the group. I have veterans that were hurt in theater, okay? And then I've had some veterans that were hurt out of theater. Okay, so you take Afghanistan, Iraq, those are two big wars. We had a lot of IED bomb blasts and brain injuries, repeated concussions of sorts take place. So we have people. I'm always a recruiter finding people, and it's not that hard because once people hear about our group and they come into our meetings, we'd love to have you as a guest come in the meeting to meet our folks. It would really be cool. So in some cases, I will videotape parts or segments of our group. We have a Seminole Spirit Facebook page, which is private, and we have another Seminole Spirit Facebook page that is public. And so I am working to brand our group. We're going to go into a nonprofit, uh, try to this year and then if not next year. Of course, next year for sure, 2026. But what I want to say to you is when you have these injuries, strokes and brain injuries, like Paige has had, like I've had, you go through a continuum of care, they call it continuum of care. So ER, ICU, inpatient rehab, outpatient rehab. And then once you get out of outpatient rehab, you got to go home. You go home. Now, are you ready to go home? Are you ready to go to work? Maybe not. So that's when you come into the second phase of the continuum of care, and that's who we are. So brain injury is sort of lifelong. Now, some people do get back to work, some people get back to driving, some people do all those things, but then depending upon the nature of their injury, they may not, and they may need more therapy. So that's sort of what we're doing. We have a second hour that's devoted to helping people recover, neuroplasticity exercises and stuff like that. And um, Do you have any relatives or any family members that have had a brain injury at all?
I don't.
No, I'm asking Kurt. Is he?
I mean, indirectly, I mean, not that I had an uncle. Uncle passed away from brain cancer, so
Oh, well, yeah.
that's not a TBI or anything like
No,
that.
no, no.
But to me, it still is a brain injury
It is. Yeah.
because when the tumor grows, it injures the brain, right?
Yes, it does. So
Yeah.
I have a so I have a golf group too. There's a gentleman in my group. His name is Dave Wethington. Paige, you may remember him. So Dave had he went to Georgia Tech. He grew up here in Atlanta. He had a brain tumor, went to Shepherd. They removed the tumor, and that caused a brain injury, just removing of the tumor. And he went through rehab and then left. And he became he went into the clergy in Houston, Texas. So Alana Shepherd, the owner of Shepherd Center, called him up and said, "Hey, we want you, we want to hire you. We want you to come back." So now he's working as a clergy, and from an empathy standpoint, he works for people with strokes and TBIs, spinal cord injuries that come through Shepherd. So, so we've had some brain tumor folks in our group too. And it's we've even had some Parkinson's folks with a movement disorder and stuff, but what the work that you're doing is outstanding, man. This is great stuff. I mean, um, and I think what you need to do is write this down, ACRM. ACRM stands for American Congress of Rehabilitation Medicine. It's a 102-year-old company. You want to be doing a lot of networking with what you're doing because you can reach a lot of people that way too.
Yeah, we're all about reaching a lot of people. That's why we've gone to TV, radio, podcasting.
Wow. Wow.
We're set up to reach tens of millions of people.
Mhm. Excellent.
Yeah, thanks for the references, ACRM. That's
No,
Susan,
no.
it's new one for
So
her, new one for me.
yeah, they brought me on. They brought me on as an independent contractor. I'll show you. This is their book. This is the Cognitive Rehabilitation Manual and Textbook. This textbook is really for young doctors and speech language pathologists as they uh, go through school and then decide where they want to go. So I gave a talk in Dallas with my group, and I could email this to you, and it's really good. But Paige and I for sure, and Paige is thinking about doing this. So they're having their 102nd conference in Chicago, which happens to be my hometown, in October. And it's sort of cool. They have an expo, and then they have a symposia, and there's a lot of it's a disability organization. So neurodegenerative disease, brain injury, spinal cord injury, stroke, of course. But it is phenomenal. It's a phenomenal show. And this will be my third year going. So yeah, it is about networking, man. Because the fact that you do podcasts, you're really getting the word out, and amongst the spaces that we live by today. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. And my passion is to help people have a podcast. We're in an age of self-syndication. Every
Yeah,
person on the planet can get their message out there, have a voice, express
yeah.
themselves, and be available to other people around the world. It's
Oh
really
yeah,
And that's what this platform is about for me.
That's
yeah.
right. That's right. Yeah, I appreciate it. This
So
is one of my favorite shows.
now, Paige, how long have you been part of um Kurt and Sue's organization, huh?
Oh, since December.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, now let me ask you, how did you find out about them?
I think I was referred through a networking group and probably LinkedIn
Oh, very
and
cool.
maybe also Alignable.
Very cool.
Yeah, I think she told me they passed on our names and said these people don't totally suck. I think is what she was told.
So let me ask you, Kurt, where are you located?
Oh my gosh, we're as close to heaven on earth as you can get.
So you're
It's
Milwaukee, so you're a Packers fan, right?
you got it. You got it.
So my Chicago Bears, and the new Pope is a Bears fan. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
The
I forgive him. I forgive him.
other, listen, I went to Lambeau Field with my Navy ships reunion out of Pearl Harbor. We retired an Oiler, and I was just texting my boys today because of the new Pope. But I think Lambeau Field is heaven. I'm a Bear fan. I love the Bears, but I went there behind the scenes. I got the behind the scenes tour. Oh my gosh. And they really, really clean. But I'm going to tell you something. You may not know this, Kurt, but it was George Stanley Hallis. George Hallis is the reason Lambeau's there. In the 50s, he went to Green Bay and he told the city of Green Bay, Chamber of Commerce, get your act together and build a stadium your team can be proud of. And this came from the tour guide at Lambeau. I happen to have my Chicago Bears shirt on, see?
Oh no. I think we should end the show, Paige.
So yeah, so I had a distributor in Brookfield, Wisconsin, Waukesha, of course. So I used to work for Siemens before my accident, and uh, and my family loves Milwaukee. I mean, God, we need German food here in Atlanta. We don't have enough German food.
Jawohl, das ist gut. Ein Prosit.
Oh, that's cool, man. You guys are great. How long have you been doing? How many years have you and Sue been doing this now?
We started the World Ability podcast 5 years ago. We got into it, well, like almost 20 years ago, we started using Blog Talk Radio. And then 10 years ago, we got invited into Milwaukee Radio. And so we did Milwaukee Radio for 5 years. And then I teamed up with the Disability Channel. And with everything I was doing, I didn't feel I quite had the platform and the space and the formality. It just wasn't quite there. So that's why I created this
Wow.
because now, superstars like Paige can come in here and we can have fun together. Before I didn't
Oh,
have,
absolutely.
yeah,
Very cool.
yeah, we're having fun, right, Paige?
Yeah.
This is what it's all about right here.
Mhm.
Now, when you've had these podcasts, I mean, what is ideally, I mean, how often do you do them? I guess is the question.
Well, Paige is one of 20 people that have come into this format in the 5 years.
Okay.
But right now, we're running at about 15 of these right now, and they're all different. So like Paige, unless she's in the advocacy month, she's doing every other, or she's doing twice a month.
Yeah.
So we have a few of those that are twice a month. We have one that's once a month, stuff like that. Otherwise, a lot of weekly shows and so it depends on what week you're hitting us. If you hit us on the right week,
Hmm.
we could have a dozen shows going in one week.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's excellent, man. It's really good. Really good. Um, yeah, so I think let me just say this to you guys. We're in a different space right now in our country that we're all having to really sort of restructure our thoughts and what we're going to do because the very uh, fabric that has provided services to people with disabilities, i.e., brain injuries, fall under, in some cases, the Medicaid waiver, Medicare, of course, but we're all sort of vulnerable right now. We're going through that new space. I have friends Kurt, at the CDC here in Atlanta. CDC's headquartered here. Um, Julie Harbauer, is a good friend of mine. She's a SLP, speech language pathologist. She's a friend of the Seminole Spirit Group, and she's gone to ACRM shows. She's been part of ACRM for a long time, but you know, we have to, as disability advocates, be aware of what's going on in legislation, what's going on politically. I'm also the Seminole Spirit's also part of the Brain Injury Association of America. So the Brain Injury Association of America has affiliates in every state. Wisconsin has one. Do you know a woman by the name of Audrey Nelson?
Hmm.
Do
I
you,
Audrey
uh,
Nelson. I
yeah.
get emails and I'm trying to
So
remember her. I know of her. I know
yeah.
I've seen
So
her work,
I
but
got
I have not placed any.
yeah. She's the executive director for the Brain Injury Association of Wisconsin. She's in Eau Claire. She's at the University of Wisconsin, Eau Claire, and project manager, executive director, TBI survivor.
Gotcha. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah,
I've seen her work. She's involved in some network where through some
yeah,
network she's involved with. Yeah, I've seen her email address and her work and all that. Yeah,
yeah.
she's
So
known here, yeah, in Wisconsin.
for somebody like her, she would be a good person to contact. Um, I think Wisconsin's really good. I got another friend that's a member of our group, sort of like her name is Annie Boriski. Annie lives in Corpus Christi, Texas. TBI survivor from 1998. She runs the Brain Injury Peer Visitor Association, but she has in Eau Claire, she has brain injury peer like it would be like being Page being able to go into the hospitals and see new survivors that had strokes or TBI and let them know they're not alone. Okay. Let them know that we're here to hear them and talk to them. And Wisconsin is part of her. So she started locally in Georgia, but then she went to Florida, then she went to Wisconsin, and now it's just mushroom because there's just a lot of networking going on there. Of course, she also has all the support groups, right? And yeah, so there's a lot of good networking that you guys could do. I think podcast. So the podcast. This is only the only two podcasts I've done is are with speech language pathologists. One in Philadelphia did one with me, and then one here in Atlanta. But it's really just making people more aware of, what happens after brain injury kind of thing.
Yeah, that's huge. You know, we need to work on the access to information and awareness and
Yeah.
coordination and make the whole thing easier. You know, I work with folks that talk about we need it to be seamless and
Yeah.
frictionless.
Yes.
And every state association has different resources. The Brain Injury Association of Missouri has 3 conferences a year, one in Kansas City, Springfield, and St. Louis, though they're missing one in Columbia, interestingly, despite the fact that the university is headquartered there with the hospital.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Missouri also doesn't have the funding for anyone other than a concussion survivor to be part of the adult brain injury program with a caseworker.
Right.
If you have any of these 501c3s out there, just anybody trying to do this good work, I'm working with some, top-notch professionals. I call them top-notch. You know, everybody's got their own definition of what we're looking for.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying working with this crew that's really creating turnkey funding programs. You know, the gentleman I'm working with, he calls it an annuity program, but he's just trying to make a point that you can do things financially where you just create the system and the tool and the process and let it be out in the marketplace doing the work for you.
Yeah.
And then you just look in your bank account and, oh, more money came in. More
Yeah.
money came in. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we're creating that experience. And he's out of I want to call it Win. It's not Wind Lake. I have to look it up again. It's some lake. It's like Win Wind Lake or something in Illinois.
Really?
Like
It's
the Google Ads program and the TV spots.
we're working with all that. Yeah, they got stuff like geofencing and yeah, all
Okay.
sorts of stuff. The passion is to help get it to be localized. You know, I mean, it can be global, it can be national, it can be all that, but the real call for the real need out there is that if somebody is doing stuff in a localized area,
Mhm.
to get money to that spot, because what's happening on the corporate level is that the executives are looking for how their dollar can spread more. So they're turning down the local opportunities to sponsor, and they're more going for putting their dollars across the whole marketplace that they serve. So if they're an international company, that they want to put their dollars to, humanitarian groups that serve worldwide, and
Yeah.
stuff like this, which means the local groups are having a tougher and tougher time, getting the dollars they need. So I'm working with a group that's addressing that, the exodus of local dollars and creating ways that setting them up with a marketplace and apparel and promotions, like coming in almost like an automatic marketing department, that they don't have to worry about paying a penny for. The gentleman I'm working with, he's all about, there's zero pennies to me, but I keep giving you money. I mean, he's just trying to be clear, he's at a point in his life where he can do anything he wants. And
Yeah.
so and he's got a whole team of people there's a whole company, doing this kind of thing, that they've had success in the big corporations, and
Yeah.
get the big severance packages, and so they're well to do,
Yeah.
and but they want to come together with their skill sets.
Yeah.
So they're developing a corporate team from retiring from all these different corporations and then putting all that magic together for community efforts
Yeah.
and
So,
services like
so,
you guys are
so
talking
let me share with you some. I'm at the Dallas show, right? And John Lindbergh, the CEO of ACRM, hires me as a promoter, influencer, all things brain injury with a lived experience. My job was really to get the COG manual disseminated, the research disseminated out to rehabilitation facilities all over the country. And I started that process. He also wanted me to promote, one of the statements of work was the expo, and I did that. So at the end of the year, at the end of a show, every October, November, they usually have people that are let go, drop off, and I was let go because of the fact that it came down to the money. Right now, I may come back into it. I could, but it's a 1099, the whole bit. So I've retired. Um, I do some work as an advocate. I do a lot of work as an advocate, my God. But so the Seminole Spirit becoming a 501(c)(3) is a big thing because I'm looking to monetize, of course, our organization and monetize myself. Now, here's where it gets exciting. Signe Communications, Signe Roberts works for ACRM only about half the time, and then she's got her own she's a marketing creator. So she brands people and she puts them in different spaces. So she said, Marky, you have to take the Seminole Spirit Group and you want to get on a Facebook page, not your private page, a regular page. She's got me. I'm on LinkedIn. I do a lot of networking on LinkedIn. That's how I met Paige. I also Instagram. So there's what happens today is there's all these spaces out there where people live, to add value, tell their stories, and collaborate. And so she's put together a marketing plan for me. And by the way, Kurt, the other thing it's all AI too. There's a lot of AI in there, man. It's just AI is just taking off. Like I know but you're right. A lot of these people that retire. So where I'm going with it, At the Seminole Spirit Group, we are the second phase of the continuum of care. So what happens is it pays for the trauma centers, the Shepherd centers in Atlanta, the Boston Spaldings in Boston, the people that work on help people recover after spinal cord TBIs, strokes, whatever. Where do they go after they leave these facilities? Well, they can come to us, but ongoing continuum of care is so important for the health of our society, right? And it's pretty cool, pretty cool. So, so Paige, do you want to say something? I see you.
I'm interested in going to the conference in Chicago. Just need to know which day would be best for me to get my ticket.
Yeah, yeah. So I looked at that. It looks like it's gonna be a Wednesday. Would be the best day. And what we did at the show, Kurt, every year the ACRM we go from Dallas to Atlanta to Chicago and then back, and then we've gone to Toronto, Canada too. So it's a really great organization, but with disability being the thing for you, you should consider looking at American Congress of Rehabilitation Medicine. I could send you the links and stuff, but why don't do you have a place you could put your email address in?
Yeah, you see I'm on here with Spirit of the Game
Oh yeah,
Foundations.
yeah. Okay, let me get that.
Yes.
Spirit of the Game Foundation. Yeah, I'll look it up. Yeah.
Yeah, and the homepage is spiritofthegame.org, and I've got an email with that, Kurt at spiritofthegame.org.
Kurt and Spirit of the Game, man. Yeah. Very cool. Now, what did you do in your past life?
Well, I mean, the sequence of how my life built up was by the time I was 7 years old, I was helping a family Christmas tree farm. And by the time I was 12, my father bought a golf course. We did that for 13 years. And then I did a stint with Philip Morris Corporation, Wisconsin Lift Truck, Food Ingredients Incorporated. I did production reporting and administrative stuff and, doing logistics and safety and all that kind of stuff. Partnered with someone in marketing and technology, and we do a ministry together. My part of the ministry is ability ministry, stuff like that, and for fun, my wife and I are show skiers. I was born into show skiing. My mother
Yeah.
and two aunts were performing in water ski shows since before I was born,
Really?
and by the time I was 14, my brother joined this club that my family and I are still a part of. And so I joined when I was 15. I sat there and watched him ski, and then I started to realize, like, why am I watching him ski? I'm a skier too. So,
Oh my God.
so that's the story there. But yeah, 39 years later, I'm still doing it. So
So you're right now, you and Sue are in a suburb of Milwaukee, right?
yeah, we're just Sue, where she's sitting right now, is in Waukesha. And
Waukesha.
then we're in the village of Lisbon, which is kitty corner to Brookfield. That it sounds like you're familiar.
Okay. Okay. Very cool. I'm going to,
Yeah, you
yeah.
just about know right where I'm sitting. Just about.
Wow.
It
Yeah.
sounds like
So,
you probably drove like 5 miles away. You probably drove by if you just would have came
well, when I
this
was,
way, you'd be sitting right where I am.
yeah. So when I was going to Milwaukee, when I handled the Milwaukee area, I had a rep, Harold Mercer's company, and they were the my manufacturer's rep, and they had an office in Milwaukee, Brookfield, and then they also have another office in Appleton.
There you
The
go.
Appleton folks called on the paper mill. So Georgia Pacific, Kimberly Clark were big paper mills that we used to sell our products to. But I lived in Rockford, Illinois at the time, and it's funny because
And
Paige,
that's where I lived for a good number of years.
Yeah, I've
Paige and
got
I were
friends.
talking. Yeah, yeah. So being from Mount Prospect, the northwest suburbs, I took a job with Danfoss, a Danish company, and I moved my family to Rockford. Now, let me tell you about that. It's like Rockford, where's that at? Well, it's right on the border, right? So I get up to this machine tool, blue collar kind of town, right? And I had my third born there, and bought our first house in Rockford. But I used to drive from Rockford to Milwaukee and take an angle. What's the road that was you go up Wisconsin?
43.
That's it, man. And it was not a bad little drive, man.
Oh,
And
an enjoyable drive actually.
it's an
That's a good
enjoyable
stretch.
drive to Milwaukee. And but yeah, I mean, so pretty cool, pretty cool. And then Wisconsin was great. And so our family likes to go to Door County every now and then. You know, Door County is a big place to go. And but anyway, I think Wisconsin is a great town, great state. I mean, my brother Keith or my brother Brian loves to fish up there. He left the Bears. My brother Brian left the Bears to become a Packer.
Good man.
He deserted
Good
it.
man. There we go. He can come over to my house anytime. I don't know.
Oh, he is a pain in the ass. I mean, I said, Bry, come on, man. Come on, come back, Bry.
It's a good story.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I was able to interact with Ray Nitschke, and
really,
he used to come speak in front of groups with like Lions Club and so
yeah,
forth.
yeah.
And he would tell the story about, you know, his dog named Butkus,
Mm.
and he said Butkus had a cat named Nitschke.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, we lost Dick not too long ago. Dick Butkus moved to California in Malibu, we lived. He came back for a Bears game or two. I mean, great guy. I mean, yeah, so the days of yesteryear, oof, man. Now Bart Starr is he died too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was some.
When's the last time you've been to Lambeau yourself?
I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to think if I've been up there during COVID time or not. I don't know that I have. It's probably
Well,
just
you've
shortly
you've been
before
up there
COVID.
since they put the new columns on, right? The new,
Yeah, I'm
they
trying to
they
think how
built,
long. Was that in
yeah,
the range of like 7, 8 years ago? I'm trying to think how
yeah.
long.
So
It was.
about 8 to 10 years ago,
10 years
they
ago.
did an overhaul of the stadium, and I got the tour. And they said they got the finest Kentucky bluegrass as the field. They got the best field out there, you know. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, my dad built his career on all that trade of turf grass, maintaining turf grass. So
really.
he used to sell the commercial lawnmowers and everything and all the equipment to take care of all that grass. Yeah.
Wow, wow. But you and Sue are husband and wife, right?
You're correct, yes.
Yeah, but you're not in the same locations right now, right?
No, she's working for her employer down in Waukesha, Carroll University, and I'm here
Oh, I got it.
working out of her house.
Okay, I got you. I got you.
And
Yeah, because why I'm asking that question is that there's a lot of colleges around the United States, and they tend to be more communication based, speech based. So a lot of the SLP, speech language pathologists, researchers, if you want to call it, um, you know, uh, want to network and shadow a group like ours. And so, man, in the last year, we've had about 25 to 30 SLPs come in our group because a lot of them, when they go to school, get their master's degree in speech therapy, only 50% of them go into medicine. The other go into the school system. Because all your public schools today they have special ed teachers, but they also have speech therapists. And there's a lot of concussions that take place in youth sports, right? And they end up being brain injuries, right? And so it's a pediatric thing, but that's why I was asking about the school because Wisconsin has great schools, man, great schools.
Yeah, Sue and I met out at the University of Wisconsin-Madison.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
We've had
1992, I met Sue.
we've had speech language students from Washington University, St. Louis University, and Lincoln University as guests in my local brain injury support group,
Excellent. Very good.
Yeah.
and PT and OT students too.
Yeah.
There we go. Good
Well,
stuff.
hey, guys, I gotta step out, but man, Paige, I appreciate you inviting me to this panel. It's been good and it's great meeting you, Kurt. I wrote down what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna email you and then I'm gonna send you a little bit about our group, our banner, and then our flyer of a typical meeting and stuff. And then what I will do is I'll make sure you're connected to the people you probably want to be networking with, okay?
That is great. I'm glad I came back and sat
Yeah.
at the computer. Thanks for calling me over.
No,
Yeah,
no.
and I'm glad I was able to connect
I'm
you.
I'm a why guy. I'm a why guy. You can't believe I go into these things and I'm thinking about, okay, so tell me what the strategy is. Tell me where you come into play and what your goals are. Because I see Paige, I mean, Paige is a true blue advocate, and she's just, there, and by the way, there's a lot of people that come into my group, Kurt. And Paige was sort of like one of them sometimes. The people come in the group as some of they're not even seen, they're not even heard, but they just want to be there
Gotcha.
to listen. And I'm like, and I got to be reminded of this because I'm always, as a facilitator, I need to know who's who in the zoo, man.
That's right. That's right.
So, hey, buddy, thanks a lot, Paige.
Yeah, good to have you on, Mark.
Good. You guys take it easy. Have a good weekend.
You
You too,
too.
Mark. Have a
All
good
right,
one.
bye-bye.
Good visiting. Nice to meet you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, Paige, what's next?
Well, this was a really good episode, and I'll find even more great guests for future episodes.
Excellent. This again is a production of the World of Ability Podcast Network. And as always, Paige, thank you so much for being such an amazing host. This is Paige Spears with Choose Greater Health.